Commvault Training Podcast, episode 26. So setting up your home lab, if you will, for Commvault. And how does that work? I use Proxmox for mine. So I have a Dell server that I bought off a marketplace, essentially. After VMware, or Broadcom, if you will, said they're not going to support, the old hardware is not going to be able to be installed on like version 7, I think it was. So you effectively, I think it was 7 or 8, you couldn't install that version on the old hardware, the old Dell servers. And so with that, a lot of the Dell servers, the old R720s or whatever they are, you got dumped on the marketplace. And now they're like $100 for a server with like 64 gig of RAM or whatever, or 120 gig RAM for like $100 essentially, $200 if you will. No hard drives, and hard drives are really low price nowadays. But that's your home lab essentially, one, and you just throw Proxmox on it and you're done. That's my environment essentially. It's all it is. And so I'm setting up like, I got IBM DB2, I got SQL database, I have Oracle database on it. I have a live sync. I'm still setting up the live sync. I have a laptop, I have a gateway, like a Commvault gateway, Commvault laptop. I'm talking about the client, right? I'm not talking about the Commvault itself, but the client. And then I have a media agent, of course. And then I have I already told you about the live sync, but all that's there. Now, I don't have the SAP HANA, which I'd like to get on. I don't have the SharePoint. I think that's mostly online now. I don't have Exchange on that. Most of the stuff on my lab I can do. It's something that in real world they do. For instance, in real world, they have SQL databases and SQL cluster databases. They have Windows file clustering. They have although I haven't used Oracle clustering, I've backed up Oracle before in Commvault, but just haven't in a production environment. I just haven't had the chance to do Oracle clustering, essentially. Commvault Gateway, which is just a intermediate between two different networks, essentially. It allows you access to your Commvault network from an outside source. And then laptops. A lot of customer support before. They had laptops. Edge, well, it's not Edge, but Commvault. And setting up, let's say the best practice, let's say, if I'm going to say best practice or whatever, right? And like for VSA, let's talk about VSA, which is Virtual Server Agent, I think it's what it's called, whatever. It's not Hyper-V, it's VMware. So for VMware, when you install VMware, when you install Microsoft, I'm sorry, let me gather my thoughts here. When you install the client on a media agent, for instance, right, there's a little check mark, so you put virtual server done, or you can also install after the fact. What it's doing is creating his files, whatever, the binaries, etc. It's going to allow you to utilize that media agent as a host. So it acts as a way to back up the VMs. And that's what they say when they say VSA. That's why it's different than Hyper-V. Well, Hyper-V is very similar, but VMware is definitely a superior product in my opinion. I know some companies out there have thought about moving from VMware to Hyper-V. That's crazy talk. I mean, whatever. You can do what you want to do, right? But good luck with that. Good luck with being able to actually the first word why it's never going to work, in my opinion, distributed virtual switch. There you go. Now, if Oracle actually bought Proxmox and open sourced it and created their own version of a distributed virtual switch, then yeah, Oracle would own the market. Oracle would own the VMware world market. Broadcom would, yeah, It would be crazy because everybody would go to Proxmox because what? Proxmox has distributed virtual switching, and it's kind of like VMware, and it doesn't cost as much at all, and you can put on notable hardware. Yeah, good times. And then you complement that with like TrueNAS. TrueNAS is the storage library. Not a lot of customers use it because it's not really, it's not respected industry standard. You know, in a production environment, you don't want to have it, but your small mom and pop, yeah, definitely TrueNAS is the way to go in production environment. You're gonna spend like 10 grand, let's say, on TrueNAS, like the big device, RAID 6, let's say, multiple RAID 6, and your hard drive, depending on how much you buy, you could have, I don't know, you could spend $500 a hard drive, let's say what, 10 terabyte hard drives, 20 terabyte, 30 terabyte hard drives, and small mom and pop, perfect. You're probably out 10 grand if you do all this with actual extra hard drives, just in case one of the hard drives go down. Like RAID 6, you get at least one. 2, you're done, but 1, you're good. RAID 5, 1, you have 1, and that's it. You have to replace it now. But yeah, those environments right there. So not Commvault, TrueNAS, which TrueNAS, if it becomes a dependable, like, industry standard, if you will, it has to just get more. They have to tell their people about product. Now it's just like a home lab or a small and pop. And then the other thing is Proxmox. Proxmox, for it to be like a dominant player in the market, Oracle has to buy it and develop a distributed virtual switch for it to compete with Broadcom. And then that's it. And everybody else is going to move. Well, not people aren't going to move immediately to Proxmox, but they're going to consider it instead of going to Hyper-V, which it's another skill set and all together. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next one.